Hey, what is up, drummists of YouTube? Today, part 3 of Uncomfortable Truths for Drummers. You can either be a jack of all trades, or you can be a specialist, but you cannot have mastery across every area of drumming. It is impossible. We do not have enough time in 100 lifetimes to master. Master's a loaded word, by the way, but to have some level of mastery across all the facets of drumming, the potential areas of drumming in the world, it's not going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to dabble and to try different styles and different areas of drumming. In fact, I think that's a really good thing. Something I do myself and I preach to my students. Definitely try, have a look at some of the Latin grooves, try some jazz, work on your jazz independence, join the jazz band at school, the big band, do all these things. Join a reggae band, join an R&B band, do whatever you want. I'm all for that. I do it myself. But let's not kid ourselves. We will not be playing at a world-class level in every area. It is impossible. Now, I just mentioned some sort of genres, I guess. If we're going to look at it like a record store, sort of in terms of genre labels, R&B, reggae, top 40 covers, jazz, Latin. World music already encapsulates over probably half the world's music. You get a whole world of music with an Indian culture, Asian, Chinese culture, Japanese, South American, and then you zoom in within South America itself, and you could be getting into batucada, samba in Brazil. It goes on and on. Then you've got Central America with all the Afro-Cuban stuff and hundreds, if not thousands, of distinct cultural musics that are unique unto themselves. So I think it is really valuable and humbling to realize that there is just far too much. Even if you looked at a couple of areas, let's say rudimental drumming, that might be an area where some people really specialize and go really far down the rabbit hole and get amazing at it. That is great. That's not automatically going to mean you are an incredible funk pocket player. Those skills probably will not transfer. You're going to have exceptional knowledge of rudiments. You're going to have fantastic stick control. You're going to have all of these pros, that are up in your pro column, but they might not be required or necessary or advantageous in a funk setting. They might not be instantly transferable. And again, I have to stress, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to try. When I teach a Mozambique or a Nanigo to a student, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to play that groove the best I can play it. It's just that I'm very, very aware, and I'll explain to the student that, hey, I'm doing my best here. I'm not a world-class Latin drummer, but I feel like this could be valuable for you, and it can, open up different options. It can get you listening to different music, which is always great. I think of some of the reggae drummers who are so phenomenal in reggae, or blues is another good one, where two styles where the drumming might on the surface appear relatively simple. I got a handle on that. I kind of know what they're doing there. Can I play it like them? No, I might be able to get it pretty close. I might be able to copy the feels. I might be able to copy the fills, but their drum kit's just tuned a certain way, and they've played with this person, and they sort of lope this way when they play. And it's going to take a while. You sort of have to live it to be able to play that style. New Orleans is another really elusive style where on the surface it might appear, well, actually it doesn't appear simple to me, but it might appear simple to some people. For example, might appear closely linked to, let's say, marching drumming and like a New Orleans snare type pattern, but feel-wise, pretty different. Jazz. Wow. I mean, some of the best drummers in the world have spent their whole life dedicated to just jazz, and they only play jazz, and then they'll get 30 years in and go, well, I've only just scraped the surface of this beast. And to think that we can just do everything is just, it's wrong. It's wrong. I sort of look at this like as if I'm a clothing shop. Walking into a clothing store, let's say there's this big clothing store, and I walk in, I'm going to walk right past the kids section, the toddler section. So instantly I've just wiped out, let's say, 2/5 of the clothing store. I'm not interested in the women's clothing. I'm going to walk past that. Now I've wiped out 3/5 of the clothing in the store. Walk past the girls section, 4/5. And, I find myself in the men's section. So I've got this amount of clothing that I'm even looking at. And then I look at that clothing. There's going to be some clothing that suits me, some clothing that doesn't. There's going to be some clothing that I'm going to feel really goofy in. It's not going to be a good fit. And there's other clothing that I'm just going to put on and go, yeah, that's cool. That's me. Let's do it. And you don't even think about it, and you go and pay for the clothing. I kind of look at it a little bit like that. Not everything is going to be a fit for everybody. Now, I think for the third time I have to stress, I think it's fun to try. I think it's also good for your drumming to try. It'd be like eating the same food every day, right? You want to experiment, you want to try different things. But in reality, I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were talking about sushi chefs and that how it takes around about 10 years to become a sushi chef. I believe for the first couple of years, you're not even allowed to cut or deal with the fish. You spend 2 to 3 years trying to get the rice correct. Now, this is a way of thinking about your pursuit of drumming and that really granular pursuit of excellence on the drums. Like this, just 2 to 3 years on the rice. And you might be thinking, but I haven't even thought about that. Like I can cook rice fine. It's like, yeah, you might be able to cook rice, okay, but is it world-class sushi rice? You really got to work on that. And there's a reason why world-class chefs get paid what they do, Michelin star chef, and there's a reason why that food is so spectacular. It's because it's world-class, right? There is a difference between me cooking rice and a world-class sushi chef cooking rice. There's a big difference. There just is. And that is, again, what it is like when you're dealing with an expert level Afro-Cuban drummer or an expert level Indian tabla player or a samba drummer or a, you name it, all these specialized areas which are so brilliant and wonderful in their own right. We cannot master it all, but it's fun to try. That's uncomfortable truth number 3. Hope you dig it. Hit me in the comments.